Alright, so Europeans first started disrupting the peace in 1792 when some weirdo named Captain Robert Gray sailed into the mouth of the Columbia River. This is significant because it marks the first time that the Chinookan people encountered European invaders. Captain Gray was the first American captain to circumnavigate the entire globe, but he was also the first American to set fire to the peaceful Chinook people, killing upwards of 50 who were not technologically advanced enough to fight back. Jumping ahead a short while, in the year 1818, a European-American treaty took place, determining that the Chinook's land should be used for trade. Unfortunately, this didn't go very well for the Chinook people, as the Europeans and Americans both wanted to trade out of the Chinook's land, with little regard for how the Chinook ended up. In the year 1824, the Hudson Bay Company, led by John McLaughlin, moved their headquarters to Fort Vancouver after a short fight with the local natives. This fight later became known as the Fight at Seven Oaks. This fight greatly contributed to the Western ideology of the Chinooks being just an obstacle in their path. In 1844, dysentery plagued the Chinook people, whose immune systems had not developed to fight off the disease, so it violently swept through the populations, with a near 60% death rate, but the worst disease was still yet to come. Between the years 1847 and 1855, the Americans and Chinook went to war, but after the war, the Americans attempted to view the Chinook as friendly. Sometime in the mid-1800s, the worst of the worst finally hit: smallpox. Smallpox had been wreaking havoc for almost 6 decades at this point, but it hit the hardest at this time. The Chinook population dropped below 300,000, a milestone in the devastation.
Got him.
In the year 1850, the Americans signed a treaty to not neglect the native tribes in the Oregon Territory. They, of course, followed this up by not treating the natives with any respect and continuing to encroach on their land, with the Donation Land Act happening later that same year. In 1865, more targeted violence took place. This happened when a group of Americans massacred a small group of Chinook men who were singing and drumming during a winter ceremony. The Chinooks did not fight back. In 1874, the final straw of the Chinook's freedom was finally pulled. This happened when Ulysses S. Grant forced a large population of Chinook people out of their homeland and onto a reservation. The Chinooks protested, but they were far undermatched by both people and military, so there was nothing they could do to stop the move. In the end, the Chinook people never returned to their homeland. If we were to lead the Chinook people in a different direction, we would have tried to a greater extent to make peace with the major governments of the Americas. This would hopefully result in them having a better relationship with the government, meaning that they would be exempt from the harshities of American oppression.